This guy over here, Mick, said, my wife asked me if I was having an affair with my female coworker. We worked together 68 hours a week. My wife had even started calling her my work wife. My wife had even gone to her best girlfriend whose husband cheated and asked her for the advice. Sometimes women's worst enemy is other women. Women only want you if they think other women want you. Whether they do or not, whether it's imagined or real, doesn't really matter. A healthy dose of competition anxiety. This guy over here, Mick, said, my wife asked me if I was having an affair with my female coworker. We worked together 68 hours a week. My wife had even started calling her my work wife. Okay, it's weird if you come home and you announce to your wife that Becky at the office is your work wife. I think women do this more than men, where they'll call a guy from the office their work husband, and they'll have a husband at home. That's not a good scene. In this situation, he's coming home and the wife's calling Becky at the office his work wife. And sending extra food to work for us to share. She knew that we got along well together after a rocky start. I had complained about having to work with a woman. My wife had even gone to her best girlfriend whose husband cheated and asked her for the advice. Sometimes women's worst enemy is other women. Women just, when they see a gal that's a friend of theirs in a good relationship, or they have a better guy than they have, sometimes envy sets in. And they kind of try to jeopardize what's going on, and they'll start feeding them some stuff which won't be constructive or useful to your relationship. That's why it's real important when you're dealing with a chick on a long-term basis to not just vet her, but vet her circle of friends, because people become the average of the five they spend the most time with. And if the five they spend the most time with are degenerate, losers, your gal's going to be the sixth, or a version of that anyway, right? Anyway, her girlfriend told her that she had thought it was unlikely I would cheat. She knew that my first wife had cheated, and that's why we divorced. She also said that she was sure that my character was too strong for me to do that. So in this situation, positive feedback. That's good. So far, sounding good. Prior to my wife asking me if I was having an affair, I noticed an uptick in the amount of sex she was instigating. At first, I thought it was because she had started working out. I never really saw any jealousy, and she sat me down and didn't seem to be upset. Just asked me point blank if I was having an affair. It's funny. If a woman has a healthy amount of anxiety or jealousy, if you're traveling or if you're going away for a few days, she definitely takes care of you before you go. Like, she wants to know that you're leaving empty, so that you are coming back full, and that you're not going to exercise or entertain options, when you go. It's not that uncommon for a woman that's like in a good frame set. So that's totally normal. So the escalation or the uptick in amount of sex that she initiated is that's a good sign for competition anxiety. If I'm being honest, women don't like certain things about men in relationships, and they would prefer that they didn't exist. You having options, you maybe being handsome and working with women that might be single or might express some signs of interest in you. So there's certain things that they won't like, but just because they don't like it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good for her or the relationship. So just keep that in mind. It's a bit of a balancing act, right? You don't want it to, again, rob you of your joy and sanity. If it gets to the point where it's robbing you of joy and sanity and peace in your life, then you have a problem. I never really saw any jealousy. She sat me down, didn't seem too upset, just asked me point blank. My answer to her was that I saw no reason to have an affair. I didn't need a lot of extra drama in my life. And as long as she kept doing things the way that she has, there was no reason to cheat. That's a fair assessment. Saying stuff like that, someone won't like that. Like, why would you say that? Why would you even entertain the thought? Why would you even bring that up, that you've got that option? And I mean, I can relate, man. It's like, drama in your life is exhausting. Unnecessary drama over what's happening between you and somebody at the office when nothing's even happened. The worst is when you get accused of doing shit that you're not doing, right? She point blank asked him if he's having an affair. So obviously the jealousy existed, but it didn't seem like it was that bad. He goes on to say, I introduced my wife to, I introduced my wife to my female coworker, and they get along well. I've since retired, and we sometimes go to lunch together, which sometimes I have two females picking on me. But the attention is bothering me. My wife has made the comment that she can see that the other woman likes me, but some of her girlfriends have told her that she won the lottery when she met me, now married 45 years, and it's been a fairly smooth ride. I think that's a better story. That's probably one of the better examples of a healthy dose of competition anxiety. right? I mean, women only want you if they think other women want you. Whether they do or not, whether it's imagined or real, doesn't really matter, right? If they have the perception that other women express an interest in you, um, that's good for the relationship. She's not going to like it, but it's good for the relationship. It's going to keep her acting well. It's going to keep her enthusiastic about you. You'll see an uptick in the amount of intimacy. You're probably going to have to deal with some point blank questions like, are you having an affair? But looks like this guy pushed through it. So that's a positive example. They're not all negative. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.